A quick review is this important sentence that's in your notes. We know that if we are solving cubic polynomials, if it is divisible by this factor, that means k is a root. So let me give you an example. Okay, this is my cubic polynomial, and I'm going to divide it by the factor x plus 3. So we're going to use synthetic division to see if it's divisible or not. So I'm going to put all of my coefficients right here, 1, -2, -21, and -18. And I'm going to solve for this root, for this solution. We equal this factor to 0, and we solve. So that means the solution here is -3. We're going to see if -3 is a solution. How do I know if it's a solution or not? What will I end up with? A remainder of 0, exactly. So let's try it. We bring down the first coefficient. We're going to multiply. -3 times 1 is -3, and then we add to get -5. We're going to multiply again. -3 times -5 is 15, and then we add to get 6. And then we're going to multiply again. Oh, this will be -6. Then we're going to multiply again. -3 times -6 is 18, and you add, you get 0. So we got 0 for our remainder. That means -3 is a solution to this cubic polynomial. Okay, so that's what we did yesterday, or our last lesson, and that's what this sentence is saying. So I know that I can rewrite this cubic polynomial as x plus 3. That's one of our factors. That's a factor because we got 0 as our remainder, so that's one of our factors. And then this down here is x squared minus 5x minus 6. So that is our other factor. And we can continue factoring this. All right, so I'll do an eye chart. I need two numbers that multiply to -6 but add to -5. Is that -3 and, oh wait, that doesn't work. Do you guys have one? There we go, -6 and 1. That works. So I'll have x minus 6 and x plus 1. So guys, these are my factors. My solutions, I know this one is -3. What's this one in the middle? 6. And the last one? Yep, these are my solutions. We're also going to call them roots. These are also called your zeros. They're also called x-intercepts, not just solutions. All these words are interchangeable, so make sure you recognize the vocabulary. Okay, so we found out what our factors were and what our solutions were by doing synthetic division. We're going to continue using synthetic division. We're going to be using the rational zero test. So we're going to answer the question, how do you know what to divide by? Because if you look at this previous example, I told you that we're going to divide by x plus 3. Okay, but what if I don't tell you what to divide by? How are you going to figure out which number to use for your synthetic division? So we're going to answer that question here with the rational zero test to figure out what should we divide by. So the rational zero test says that we're going to be given this polynomial. The coefficients are all integers. Every rational root of this polynomial can be written in this format, p divided by q, where p is a factor of the constant term a0, and q is a factor of the leading coefficient. So let me just break that down what this means. We're going to get our p factors from here and our q factors from here, and we want to list all of the possibilities. So let's look at the factors of p. What are different numbers that will multiply to give you 8? We want to list the factors. So give me two factors that multiply to 8. Okay, I heard someone say 2 times 4 will give you 8. What else? 1 and 8. Okay, 1 times 8 will also give you 8. So these are the factors of 8. However, these are not all of them. Can't I do the negative versions of these two? Like -2 and -4 will also give me 8, and -1 and -8 will also give me 8. So guys, we're always going to represent these as plus and minus. Okay, so those are all the factors of the p-value. This is going to go over all of the factors of the q value. So q is a factor of the leading coefficient. So here your leading coefficient is 1. And so those factors are just 1 times 1 will give you 1. And so will -1 times -1 give you 1. So these are all of the possibilities of your real solutions. There's 8 different possibilities. Let me just expound upon this. 1 can be a factor, a solution. -1 can be a solution. 2 could be a solution, and so can -2. 4 and -4, 8 and -8. These are all possible solutions. We're going to have to do a lot of guessing and checking. Okay? I recommend that you start off with the smallest numbers. So let's start off with 1, and we'll check and see if that is a solution. There's 8 possibilities here. So we're going to use synthetic division. I'm going to use 1, -5, 2, and 8. 1, -5, 2, and 8. Bring down the first term, multiply, add, multiply, add, and multiply. Did I get a remainder? That means 1 is not a solution because I got a remainder of 6. We want a remainder of 0. Let's try -1. So again, 1, -5, 2, and 8. Bring down the first one, you'll get -1, -6, +6, 8, -8, 0. Okay, so that means -1 is a solution. Okay, so there will be a lot of guessing and checking. So -1 worked. That is a solution. So I'm going to write my factors. If -1 is a solution, what is the factor? Let's work backwards. What's the factor? Yep, so x plus 1 is the factor, because if you solve it, equal it to 0 and solve, you'll get the -1. And also, this is a factor. This is x squared minus 6x plus 8. Can you guys finish factoring that? Uh-oh. Okay, so we can do an eye chart. 2 numbers that multiply to 8 add to -6. Thank you. All right, so we have x plus 1, x minus 4, and x minus 2. So guys, these are my factors. I factored it completely. These are my factors. However, my solutions, because it says find the roots, so we need to find the roots. So my roots are -1, 2, and 4. The opposite of those. Those are my roots. So guys, we use synthetic division to figure out which one is a factor, and we list all of our possibilities. Notice, we said -1 was a possibility. That's in our list. We said 2 is one of our answers. That was in our list. And we have 4. That is also in our list. Okay? Also, guys, let's classify this. These are all rational. They are rational. Okay, so here is what we're going to have to do if we have a 4th degree polynomial. So we're still going to use our rational zeros test. So this is P and this is Q. We're going to list all of the factors that are possible. So for a 6, we'll have plus and minus 1, plus and minus 2, plus and minus 3, plus and minus 6. And your Q value is just 1, so it'll basically just be these numbers. So these are 8 possibilities. Do you guys know how many real solutions you'll get? Possibly? 4, yes, because this is a 4th degree polynomial. So at the most, we'll have 4 real solutions at the most. Okay, so let's go ahead and try this. So I'm going to test, I always like to test my smallest numbers first. So I'll test 1, and 1, 1, negative 7, negative 1, 6. We'll bring this down, multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply, and we get 0. So that means 1 is one of your solutions. So I'm going to circle that. We have 8 possibilities. We found one of them. That's a solution. So after this, I'm left with a cubic degree polynomial. And I can do synthetic division again. I'll use it on the smaller polynomial this time though. So I'll have 1, 2, negative 5, and negative 6. And let's test another one. Which one would you guys like to test? Oh, let's do negative 1. Smaller numbers are easiest. So negative 1 times 1 is negative 1. Add them, you get 1. Multiply, add, you get negative 6. Multiply, we get positive 6, and our remainder is 0. So we found another solution. So that means positive 1 and negative 1 were both solutions. We have 2 more that we could possibly find. This is now a quadratic. And can we factor that? I need 2 numbers that multiply to negative 6 and add to 1. Thank you. 3 and negative 2. Okay, so my factors are x plus 3 and x minus 2. If you solve, you'll get x is equal to negative 3 and x is equal to positive 2. Those were some of the possibilities that we listed. So those are my solutions. X equals 2, negative 3, negative 1, and positive 1. So notice whenever we had a 4th degree polynomial, we had to do synthetic division twice until we got down to a quadratic. What do you think we're going to have to do if we have a 5th degree polynomial? Yep, you're going to have to do synthetic division 3 times before you get down to a quadratic that you can factor.